What is up, everyone, and welcome back. Today, I actually get to do a Metallica video. We are checking out the remaster of Metallica's Dyers Eve, the 9th track on the And Justice for All record, and a personal favorite. The reason is, Metallica, in their infinite wisdom, have decided to remaster the And Justice for All record. And with that remaster comes, or should come, slightly better sound quality. But the big question I think many of us have is, do they fix the massive, utterly gigantic, humongous elephant in the recording? That being the lack of bass from bass player Jason Newsted. A lot of stories on why there was no bass in the record. We'll get into those at the end of the video. But let's go ahead and get into it. I finally get to do Metallica here on the channel. The band is Metallica. The track is Dyers Eve. This is the remastered version. Here we go. Oh, first thing I'm hearing, it's a little brighter. There's more treble. There's a little bit more clarity. Drums still have that really massive drum sound, but we're not getting an improvement in the bass department. Riffs are still awesome. Still absolutely like that fill. The floor toms sound gigantic. Still don't love the kick tone. Do think the snare tone's quite good. Great fill there. The snare work actually sounds on point. Back when Lars was still really trying to push the boundaries of his playing. I do wish that double bass had a little more clarity in the hits. The vocal performance here is just as good as it ever was. The lyrics to this track are so powerful, so angry and venomous. Always love that rhythmic connection between Lars and James on this track. I love these riffs, but the one thing these riffs in this record has always suffered from is that lack of bass there to tie everything together. Metallica, especially in these days, we're using such a scoop guitar sound that it was very little mids. They just don't have that glue. It is great to go back and just realize how great of a vocal performance was on this record for James. All those breaks and those little things going on in his voice, imperfections. Drums really do dominate this track still. I see they didn't make a whole lot of effort to fix that. Do love just how massive those floor toms sound. Sound like cannons going off. Probably one of my favorite Kirk solos. I think he actually really nails this one. My guess is only 3 or 4 wah pedals got abused and got used and abused here. Though it is really easy to see how some of the transitions are just not completely cohesive. But with 7 days to execute those solos, love this transition right here. This is actually one of my favorite parts. Cutting that break out of that solo into this great riff. This really painful, angry, pissed off delivery here. Double bass still really moves those speakers and hits very hard in the headphones. All right, that was Metallica, that was Dyers Eve, that was the remastered version. So, it's still an amazing track. Still holds up really well. I bought a copy of it when it came out in 88, 89. And I still love the record. But as I became more into music, understood it more, and started playing, and started getting a grasp of mixing and recording and levels and how things are supposed to sound, you do truly notice that glaring issue of there is no real audible bass in the record. And that's been something that many people, myself included, have said for decades now, is there's no bass. And unfortunately, while the record is called And Justice for All, it's clear that we're not getting justice for all, because we're still not getting any justice for Jason Newsted here. The treble is a bit higher, it's a bit brighter. I think there's a little more clarity in the mix, but there's still no bass. So, unfortunately for the mighty Mr. Jason Newsted, great guy, I've had a chance to meet him several times over the years. Great player, one of the guys that inspired me. You just still don't hear the bass, and that's the big thing that this record has sorely missed. Metallica, especially back in these days, they've since fixed their tone a little bit, or I guess added, I wouldn't say fixed, but added more mids. Back in the 80s, scooping your tone, meaning you really pull the mid-range out, and you're really running a lot of low end and a lot of high with that very scooped midsection. You don't have a lot of balls in the mid-range, which is one of the spectrums the ear certainly picks up very well. And it's really crucial that you have the bass in there to glue that together. And you don't get that. You get that tone, you get that great guitar tone, that very scoop guitar tone, and you get drums. You don't have the bass being able to fulfill the role that it's designed to fill, especially in metal. Even though you might not always hear the bass, you have the effect of it by thickening up that sound and really thickening up that mid. And it's just not there. So it's unfortunate. And as a remaster, clearly they're doing it to keep the license around. They're doing it to be able to continue to make money off that part of their catalog. And I don't know how much freedom whoever remastered it had to be able to tweak it. I don't know if the how the masters were done, but it's unfortunate that they did not go in and at least should raise those levels somewhat. Oh, and there's been all sorts of rumors over the years of the he said, she said of the engineer versus Lars versus James. Lars saying, "Oh well, the bass frequencies were the same as the guitar frequencies," which is completely not true, because the bass frequencies are not, or they're going to be lower, and they're not occupying the same space, especially not with those scoop tones. So even if James or if Jason's following a lot of the guitar lines, he's going to be a bit lower, and it's still going to thicken that sound up. You're still going to be able to really hear it. It really, from the engineer saying, he was told to scoop them. He was really told to pull the bass down. That's what Lars wanted, and well, they and the record label were the paying customer. So you do what the customer wants. The big thing is, the big question here with this video is it going to be worth your money? And I don't think it is. If you have a copy of And Justice for All, if you're a fan and you've owned a copy of this record for however long you had it for, a year, 6 months, 30 years now, think about it, I don't think it's worth forking out the additional cash based off this track. Now, we could hear some more. There could be new development. If so, I'll certainly make another video about it. But based off the evidence that we have in front of us here, I just cannot recommend going out and spending your hard-earned coin on the new record, or the new remaster of the record, if you already own it. If you don't already own Justice and you suddenly want a copy, I would recommend waiting for the remaster and picking that up, because it does seem like you get more treble. It does sound a little brighter, and it does sound like there's a little more clarity there, but I don't think those things make it worth it if you already have a copy. So, personal opinion, if you have it, unless it really blows your mind to the point where, oh my god, this sounds leagues better, I need to have it, my opinion is don't waste your money. Save it, go buy another record, support another band that you really want to support, as opposed to putting more money in the Metallica coffers. So, what do you guys think? I want to know. Do you think it sounds good enough that you're going to go plunk down your hard-earned coin on a remaster that just doesn't stack up to other remasters? I want to know. Also, another question: what are some of your favorite remastered records that have been remixed and remastered over the years? Personally, from what I've heard so far, this does not stack up against the Death reissues. I think the remaster of Human and the remaster of Sound of Perseverance by Death, two of the best remastered records I've heard, and the remastered version of Voice of the Soul, the instrumental off of Sound of Perseverance, sounds like a different track, with all those different layers being so separated and having their own space. It's incredible. So, let me know what you guys think. Thank you for the support. I love you guys. I do. Thank you to my law enforcement, military veterans, and first responders for what you do every single day. As always, you have been awesome. I have been Baldman. This one's been a lot of fun. It's nice to finally be able to do a Metallica video. Be excellent to each other, and I'll see you in the next one.